So I, 28F, just had my husband, 31M, and I's first child 7 weeks ago. I had a scheduled induction, so my mom came 2 days before I was induced and stayed with us for the first 6 weeks. She just left last week. She was originally going to just stay for 2 weeks after I gave birth, but she stayed longer because my recovery has been very difficult, and I just needed the extra help. My in-laws wanted to come visit as soon as the baby was born as well, but they did not want to stay in a hotel, and we have a small house with no guest room. And my mother was sleeping on a pull-out bed in our living room. So there was just no space for anyone else, and so they decided not to come visit until my mother left. They arrived 3 days ago and it has not gone well. Last night my mill got very upset with me and told me I was ruining her experience as a first-time grandma and hogging both the baby and her son after she had to wait weeks and weeks to meet the baby. The background here is that the baby is cluster feeding for the last few days, and I do not feel comfortable breastfeeding in front of my in-laws. So I keep taking the baby to our bedroom or the nursery to feed him, and breastfeeding makes me hungry and thirsty, so I keep asking my husband to bring me snacks and water. I try to bring the baby out to interact with my in-laws when he stops feeding for a few minutes, but it is very aggravating to keep covering up and going downstairs just for the baby to cry minutes later and want to feed again. And my mill keeps rolling her eyes and getting annoyed each time I said he had to feed again and go back upstairs, and she kept being like, he can't be hungry, he just ate. And she thinks I just don't want to let her hold him or play with him. And when I ask my husband to bring me snacks and stuff, she keeps huffing and saying things like, okay, Phil and I will just sit here by ourselves. Quote, she has not offered me any help the way my mother did. My mom would cook for us like every day, and she would take over baby care for the night when she was staying here, and she would just bring him to meet a nurse, but she would burp and change him and get him back to sleep for me around 2 nights a week, and it was a lifesaver. My mill just keeps telling me to give her the baby when I can't because he needs to eat, and not really doing anything to help, and getting mad that I need my husband's help. I told my husband I felt this way after his mom yelled at me last night, and he told me his mom isn't here to help me the way my mom was because she's not my mom. She's there to meet her grandson, and he wanted to spend the next few days introducing his child to his parents, not just making me snacks and then sitting around watching TV with his parents waiting for me to finish breastfeeding so they can see the baby. He told me he's been looking forward to his parents meeting the baby since the birth, and it's been disappointing it's going this way. I told him I feel like I don't know how to please anyone because I can't just not feed my son. I don't want to be miserable and hungry and thirsty when I'm breastfeeding, and I really don't think making me a snack plate and filling up my water bottle takes that long and is taking away that much time that my in-laws could be spending with my husband. And he's the only person I can ask to do it because my mom left, so now he needs to help me. I exploded at him and told him they can all just leave and get a hotel room, and my mom can come back to help me because at least she does things to help me and doesn't shame me for trying to breastfeed. He told me he couldn't believe I would say that and that I knew his parents didn't like hotels, but they would go stay in one then. And they all went and got rooms at the Holiday Inn in our town, and I spent the night alone with the baby for the first time and got no sleep. I called my mom crying, and she's on her way back to help me now, but now I feel like I might have made a huge mistake by telling them all to leave, but I felt like I was going to scream, and I just wanted my mom to come back. He has not texted or called me to check on me or the baby at all since they all left last night. AITAH for telling them to go to a hotel?